So you're going to start with the bottom plate. These rubber knobs are the feet and will go on the ground. Next, you're going to take the main post and you're going to attach these together through the screws in the bottom. You'll also need the bottom box. This is the box that is completely open on the bottom. So you're going to take 2 screws, flip your bottom plate over, and attach the bottom box. You're going to want to leave the screws slightly loose. That way you can line it up centered to the center board. Once you have it lined up the way you want it, you can tighten these screws, but you do not want to over tighten them. You still want to allow movement for the wood. So you want the piece not to slide, but you don't want the screw to be indented into the wood. Next up, we'll take the main support, and this hole should be on the back side. So I slide it into the entire base, and then I like to just carefully tip the whole thing over. This will allow us access to these 2 large slots in the bottom. And if you notice that the holes don't line up, that means you have it orientated the wrong direction. So then we'll fix this by simply turning this 180 degrees. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the 4 screws on the bottom. And it'll be the same deal with these screws, where you want them to be tight so nothing's wobbling, but not so tight that you're damaging the wood and not allowing the wood to move. Now you're going to carefully stand the entire piece up, just like that. For the next step, you're going to want to grab your top plate and flip it over so the bolt and the countersunk screws are facing up. To orientate your boxes with the plate, notice the notch for the plug and the gentle notch right here. You will align them like this, and you can go ahead and just finger tighten these screws. To orientate the locking box, you will see the brass hardware, and then that will flip over onto the back side, the same side as the cutout for the cable. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same hand tightening. Now I'm going to snug up all 4 of these, not quite making them tight. Still want to be able to move the box, that way I can line it up properly. Now I'm going to take each box and just align the sides so that they're flush with the top plate. Then you can go ahead and lock it down. Again, no need to over tighten here. You just want it to be tight enough to where the box won't slide around. Next up, we'll take the top box, which is the box with this back piece. You're going to orientate this hole at the same side as the notch and the brass hardware. So they'll all be facing the same direction. Now you'll take the only short screw I have provided. This is the only screw that is not the same size. So the shorter screw you're going to use for this. Now I'm going to leave it just a little loose and align it to the edges of the 2 slots right here. That'll help keep everything square and can always be adjusted later. Now this one you're going to want to tighten as much as you can. This should be the only screw that you fully crank down. Once everything is aligned the way you want it, you're going to go ahead and pick the entire assembly up, flip it over, and drop it directly on the post. You're going to want to make sure that the hole is lining up with the hole on the back, which mine is not. So I will flip it over. Now you want to go ahead and make sure you press this down a little bit, and that will make sure that the hole will align with the threaded insert. Now you will take 1 more bolt and go ahead and tighten this on. You can tighten this firm as well. Now I noticed I had a little bit of wobble, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten the 4 bolts at the bottom of the post. The last and final step is to take the magnet for the lockbox and install it. To do that, you will take the key, figure out which way they connect. Be careful not to smash your fingers here. These magnets are extremely strong, and don't let them slam together because they will break. Once you have the orientation figured out, You'll slide it off, keeping it in the same orientation. On this corner, the corner on the opposite side of the brass insert, you will slide this up into the little hole there, and then slide your key on top. Now you can shut it, drop that pin in, and the box is fully locked. No way to get it. When you want to open it, you can take your key, slide it over, and the entire section will open all the way. When you want to lock it, you just slide the key off in the closed position and it will lock. The place I prefer to store the key is right here on the back side. I like to store my key right here and it'll just magnet to that bolt. That way, whenever you want to access it, you can just grab it, slide that open, grab your stuff, and then lock it back up and drop the key right here.